Hello, my fellow colorizers. Today I am excited to share with you how I approach grading a shot, which can sometimes be challenging. It's one where you're outdoors, but you're shooting in the shade. I'm Andy Waddell with Form Films, and this is Grade in 10. Let's go. All right, sorry, I am in a weird mood tonight. It's just been one of those days. So here's our shot. So we're on a covered porch. It is sunny as heck. The sun is off to the left of frame, to the talent's right. You can see it coming in here on his shirt, and it's just beaming in. So we're using some giant modifiers. We're controlling it to kind of tame it, but we still want it to feel bright. It's a commercial spot, product centric. We want it to feel bright and airy. On the right side, there's probably 15 feet of covered space, and then it's just shade outside of that. So I believe we rolled in some bounce. I don't think we brought a fixture in on this. We may have. Amazing DP Chris Fake and our gaffer Josh Sims rocked the house on this setup. So literally the house. So anyway, it's a balanced image, but we still want to bring some definition and make sure that it feels bright, airy, poppy, all those good things. This is Red Gemini footage, so we're going to immediately jump to here on our color management for the project. Kick it over to YRGB. It's going to bring it to Rec 709er. Boom. That is how it looked coming out of the camera. So we're going to take it from here to here. Let's get it going. Delete the nodes. All right, first up, I'm going to do a small touch of denoise, very little, just because we were shooting at ISO 800, and I'm gonna do a little bit of this. Sometimes on reds, I can feel the noise in these low shadows, so I just want to put a touch there just to kind of address it for just a little bit that might exist. So. Next node up is exposure. We're going to grab our curves, and I've got plenty of headroom you can see over here. I'm going to be careful not to blow out the whites on the windowsill, these reflections, his collar, watching that. Just want to bring it up, kind of nipping away at like the 90% mark. I'm going to take this curve right here on the red and green. You can see the blue's a little low. So I'm going to leave this about here, maybe a little less. And I'm going to pop little bit of mid right there just to make where his face is. I want this to pop out a little bit more, so just ever so slightly. Okay, let's jump to the next node. We're going to call this primaries, and we're going to grab our lift gamma gain, and we're going to just rock these boys till we get our highlights to match, get our whites where they're white, and then we're going to get our shadows down here to match as well. So let's start rolling some wheels. So, we need some wheel rolling music instead of this groovy chill stuff that I got going on. But I like the groovy chill stuff. All right, just by moving the gain right here, just ever so slightly, you can see the difference. It's just making these peaks that represent key elements of the scene, making these things match. That's all I'm doing. Trying to get my highlights about right. Not worried about this little spike here in the blue versus the green and the red. Looking at these big pieces, those little arches right there and there. All right, I'm gonna grab my shadows, pull them just a microscopic amount to the red, toward the red, ever so slightly. Actually, let me see, reset. And you know what? I might actually do it a little bit yellowy red. Okay, it's so subtle, it's not showing up on YouTube. I'm sorry. On the YouTubes and the rumbles. I'm gonna pull my gamma. I'm just gonna roll it a second. I just want to see what happens if I kind of play it over here. A little cooler. I don't want to make it too cool. I want this to feel like a nice summer afternoon, but not too sweaty. I just kind of want to get away from a little bit of green. The red tint, or the red camera tint of green that sometimes permeates, especially because we were shooting outdoors. He had some variable ND, so we could move fast. It's quite possible there's some green coming out of that. This shot doesn't have as much. Maybe we didn't have the ND filter on. I honestly don't remember on this shot, but I suspect we did because it was outdoors. Next up, I'm going to do a little contrast. And I'm going to use curves again. I'm just going to play very gently down here on the bottom end. And what I'm looking at is the doors, the darker edges of this candle thing back here, this stuff right here, this stuff right here. I don't want to crush it. I just want to give it a little bit of love. And then on the top end, I'm going to give just a touch of pop right here. And then I'm going to bring right in the middle chunk, not right there. Okay, just a little bit of a low mid lift, a little bit of a high mid, low mid, mid high. I don't know. Am I saying that right? Dip. And then you're probably thinking I'm crazy. I know, I'm sorry. And then just a little bit of a shadow crunch right there, just enough to give it just a little bit of a darker edge right in there. Let's audition this off and on. Off, on. Yeah, just makes it pop a little bit more. That's so generic, making it pop. But look at her hair right here. I like how it just brings a little more definition there. Let's add another node. We're going to call this one Sat. And I'm just going to punch a touch of color boost in it. Maybe like 12.5. Okay, yeah, I like that. It's bringing out the sweet tea. It's obviously bringing out some red on his face. I'm going to come back. We're not going to have him quite that red here in a few moments. Adjustment layer is next. I call this adjustment layer because I like to make just micro adjustments with my curves. I'm going to pull some red out of the low shadows. Mainly trying to cool off, not cool off, I should say, but just de-warmify like the door back here. If I audition it off and on, you can see that red haze. I might actually bring this up a little bit. And move that adjustment a little higher. You have to be careful doing this because you'll introduce green again if you're not careful. And I'm going to make sure I don't let any green slip up into the whites and affect them. Okay, already liking how that's cleaning it up. Off, you can see there's kind of a red haze. On, it's just tightening it up a little bit. Let's drop this down. Let's add a skin node, and I'm not going to worry about. Actually, I may worry about her. She's in the shot pretty good there. I might do that. Okay, skin for him. We're going to grab our 3D qualifier right here. And I'm just going to scoop his face. Shift H to solo. Oh, that's actually getting her too. That's interesting. Okay. You know, I might could use that because, you know, skin tone is skin tone. And if I can grab them both a little bit, what I might do is treat them at the same time. If I can get a little more there. Okay. I don't want to do that one. Ooh, I just hit the wrong key and reset it. Dang it. Sorry about that. All right, let's grab him. We're worried about him right now, not her. I'm just going to mess with him. I want to make sure I got a pretty good key. I'm going to play with cleaning it up. I want to make sure I'm not grabbing his teeth, his beard. Really just want his skin. I'm going to use clean white to kind of just fill in a little bit. Looking down here, I don't want flickery nonsense happening. I'm going to denoise a little bit, blur it a little bit, so when the shot's in motion, it doesn't jiggle. Okay, kind of liking that. So I'm going to throw color compressor on this, and we're going to grab kind of his ideal skin tone where I want him to more or less live. And just kind of eyedropper around until I get something I like. And then I'm just going to drag the compression up on the hue and on saturation. So this is going to help squeeze his skin tone to be more uniform. So you can see on the vector scope, it's pretty tight. If I turn this off, it spreads out a little and fans to the left. So I'm going to keep it on. I'm going to take my offset wheel and I'm just going to roll myself a little bit to the right. I want it to live just to the right of the line. I'm going to push it up just a touch. Okay, let's Shift H to unsolo that. Okay, now let's toggle the node on and off and see what it's doing. So off, yeah, he's kind of red, but a little green. Here he's a little redder. I'm actually going to roll, now that I see it in context, I'm going to roll back on the offset. Not push it too much toward red. Just Shift H. A little bit on the line. I'm going to desatin by pulling it down just a touch. I'm going down and to the right toward blue. Off, on. Okay, yeah, so here's off. He's got a little bit of a green, so it must be the variable ND, you can see. And then there he is a little more, let me reset this a second. I'm talking and doing it at the same time, and I think I'm messing up. There we go. Okay, I like that. Sorry, I can't talk and do it at the same time sometimes. My brain don't work that good. All right, yeah, I like where that's living right there. Let's go back to... oh, that's also reading her. I forgot about that. Let's see what that's doing to her. Yeah, I like what that's doing to her, actually. It's cleaning her up a little. She had a little very, very faint haze there. And, you know, it's kind of taking care of business right there. I might even just go add this little swath right here. And then I think we got him. It looks really good. Okay. Hey, I love it when that lucks out and works. Now, I could isolate him, isolate her, but this is a pretty short shot, so I think this works really well. I'm going to solo that up. I'm going to come over here to curves on my skin node. I'm going to pull a little more red out of the shadows right there. Nope, too much. Just ever so slightly. There we go. So off, on. I like it. Just pulls him back ever so slightly. I don't want him to feel like he's glowing. Okay, let's jump to... I'm going to add a lab node. I'm thinking about something I might do differently here in a minute than what I did before. That's how it rolls in this show. Putting this node in the lab color space. All right, this is going to handle red, green, blue, and yellow natively instead of just RGB. And so when I play with my shadows and highlights, what it's going to do is tighten up my shadows by pulling the red murky that you sometimes can't get even as well here on the curves or in the wheels. I just like the way it pulls it out and kind of tightens up the low end. So watch when I roll this down to about negative, I'm guessing 4. Oh, did you see what that did? On the door, on this chair, I'm going to toggle it off, on. It just kind of helps bring the low end tighter and richer. And on the highlights, if I push them up a little bit, it'll kind of do the inverse on some of the higher stuff in the luminance. So off, on, I'm liking what that's doing. I'm going to save that. Let's see. Now, final node. Maybe not final. I say that. I think I'm thinking about doing something else here. Sharpening. Let's go grab this. Let's drop our sharpening to about 0.48, just really subtle with that tool. And then I want to come over here to mid detail and I'm going to hit it at about 30%. And you're going to watch his face zing. Boom. Ooh, that looks so good. Maybe 25%. Boom. That looks really good. It really brings out the details in the skin tone. That's what I love. So if I audition that off and on, off, look what it's doing, like right in here, right back here. Even with the stuff that's out of focus, turn it back on. It brings more definition, off, on, but it doesn't, you know, try to sharpen something that's supposed to be blurry. And I'm really happy with the way that feels. The sweet tea feels very sweet. The fake ice cubes are feeling very fake ice cubey, but I like them. Oh, come back to skin. I meant to do this. My bad. Sorry. I'm going to just roll the, I'm going to just play with the gamma and the lift on the level. And I'm just going to see if I can bring his skin out even just a little bit more. A little too far. Oh, dang it. I'm sorry. I'm still on offset. That is a massive blunder. Okay. Bring it out a little bit right here. Then a little bit right here. I'm going to go really far, see what it's doing. Yeah, I don't want to go that far. Just a little bit, just to bring him out a little bit. Okay. I'm going to come back up here to contrast. I'm actually going to bring a little more contrast to the image. Now that I've kind of seen it all come together, I want to grab this and just push it down a little further. And, all right, I think that we could be there. All right. Well, there we go. It was a pretty simple shot. It was well lit, well shot. Everything was pretty much in balance, but you're always dealing with different things when you're under a shaded section of a house or whatever, because you've got all these grays and some blues. There's stuff behind the camera you can't see that are kicking up different reflections. There were some bushes nearby, so there's a lot going on. So it can be tricky, but the key is to make sure that your key light side, which is over here, isn't blown out. But then on the shade side, you want to make sure that it doesn't feel, out of balance. So in this case, with her face being here, it helps. We were just watching this door, making sure that nothing got too out of whack. And I think we've done a really great job of isolating him. His shirt looks, beautiful and white and clean. He breaks off this gray background on the house and nothing's blown out back there. So feeling pretty zesty. So give us a like, subscribe, follow, and thank you very much. Can't wait to see you on the next episode. Bye.